Hello and welcome back to the Strip Club. No polls in this room. And today we're going to talk about leadership. All right. Because everyone wants a man to lead the family, lead the relationship, lead the business, lead the children, lead spiritually, lead financially, lead emotionally. You name it. The list is there. We got to lead through crisis, lead through uncertainty, lead when you're tired, lead when you're confused, lead when he has no idea what's going on, but everybody is looking at him like he's downloaded the instructions from heaven on how to lead. And believe in leadership. I do. I believe men are called to carry that responsibility. I believe that leadership, it matters. But I also believe we have created a version of male leadership that leaves no room for male exhaustion. And that's dangerous because a lot of men don't want to quit leading. They just want someone to notice when they're tired. They want someone to see that confidence is sometimes costume, right? They want somebody to understand that just because they can carry it doesn't mean it's not heavy. And men don't always know how to say that. So they say things like, I just need some space. I'm good. I don't want to talk about it. It is what it is. You know that famous line? See, that phrase right there should come with a warning label. See, whenever a man says it is what it is, he is often it often means that he's accepted a level of disappointment that he just doesn't have the energy to explain. And see, and that's not peace, that's emotional fatigue. And many men are living right there. They're functioning, but they're tired. They're providing and they're tired. They're parenting and they're tired. They're showing up, but they're tired. They're smiling, laughing, posting, working, coaching, driving, paying, planning, fixing. And guess what? They're tired. And because they're still moving, nobody thinks to ask if they're okay. See that's one of the hardest parts of being a man. When you are functional, people assume that you're fine. If the bills are paid, you must be fine. If you show up to work, you're definitely okay. If you make jokes, you are fine. If you answer your phone, you must be fine. Kids taken care of, he's okay. But a man can be responsible and still be running on empty. A man can be strong and still be one bad day away from breaking. And we don't want to talk about we don't get to talk about that enough. Now, I know some people here there some will say, well, women are tired too. Absolutely. I am that there's no debate there. This is not a competition on exhaustion, right? Nobody's handing out trophies to who is more overwhelmed. That's not the topic. This is not trauma Olympics, guys. All right? Because women carry a lot. Women mothers carry a lot. Partners carry a lot. But today I'm talking about the weight men carry and often hide because many men have been taught that admitting fatigue sounds like weakness. And the truth is, some men are afraid to say they're tired because they don't know what will happen after that. Will people lose respect? Will their partner feel unsafe? Will their children worry? Will the family judge them? Will people say, I thought you were supposed to be a man? That sentence has destroyed a lot of men internally. I thought you were supposed to be a man. As if being a man means you no longer have limits. As if being a man means your nervous system, it just has unlimited storage. As if being a man means pressure is not supposed to feel, uh, as if being a man means pressure is supposed to feel comfortable. It doesn't. Pressure is pressure. And if you never release pressure, eventually something explodes. Sometimes it explodes as anger, sometimes as distance, sometimes as numbness, as sickness, sometimes as a middle life crisis where a man suddenly buys a motorcycle, starts dressing like he's in his 20s, and he says he's finding himself. And maybe he is, or maybe he's just finally realizing he's been living for everyone else for so long he's forgot what made him feel alive. And that's the deeper conversation. A lot of men have confused leadership with self neglect. They think that leading means never needing help. They think that leading means always having an answer. They think that leading means absorbing everyone's emotions while hiding their own. They think leading means sacrificing until there's nothing left. But leadership without replenishment, it becomes resentment. And let me say that again for the people in the back of the room that didn't listen or didn't hear. Leadership without replenishment becomes resentment. And a resentful man is not a healthy leader. He may still be present physically, but emotionally, he starts checking out. He becomes short tempered, cynical, he stops dreaming, he stops playing, stops listening, and he starts seeing everybody's needs as another demand instead of an opportunity to love. And that is when relationships suffer. Because a tired man who doesn't know how to communicate it becomes a difficult man to love. Not because he's evil, but because he's depleted. But here's the problem: many men don't even know that they're depleted. They just know that they're irritated. They just know that they don't want to talk. They know small things bother them, that they need silence, that they don't enjoy things the way they used to. They just know everybody needs something and they have nothing to give. Let me repeat that. They just know everybody needs something and they have nothing to give. And that's not just a mood. That is your body sending a message. That is your spirit saying, we cannot keep doing this without care. And men, we have to listen before life forces us to stop. Because sometimes when you refuse to rest, your body will schedule that appointment for you. And usually it doesn't check with your calendar first. So what does healthy leadership look like? First off, it requires honesty. A man who cannot say, I need help, is not leading from strength. He's leading from fear. And I know that sounds harsh, but think about it. If your whole leadership model depends on pretending you never struggle, then your leadership is built on performance. And real leadership has room for truth. A leader can say, I don't know yet. I'm working on it. He could say, I need a moment to think. He could say, I'm tired. I need support. A leader can say, I have been carrying too much alone. It doesn't make him weaker. It makes him honest, right? Secondly, leadership requires boundaries. And men love to say yes to responsibility because it makes us feel valuable. But sometimes your yes is rooted in fear: fear of disappointing people, of not being needed, of looking selfish, of losing respect. So you say yes until your life becomes one long unpaid invoice. See, everybody has a request. Everybody has an expectation. Everybody has an emergency. And you're sitting there like a customer service for your entire universe. At some point, you have to say, I can't carry this right now. And that's not abandonment, that's stewardship. You're responsible for your capacity. And third, leadership requires community. You see, a man was never meant to carry life alone. Even the strongest men, they need counsel. Even the wisest men, they need correction. Even the most capable men need somewhere to be poured into. If nobody pours into you, eventually you'll have nothing healthy to pour out. And that is why brotherhood, mentorship, therapy, faith, and honest relationships matter. You need people who know more than your public success. You need people who know when you're off. You need people who can say, you're leading everyone else, but who's leading you back to yourself? And that question matters. Who leads the leader? Who checks on the man everybody depends on? Who prays for the man who prays for everyone else? Who encourages the man who's always encouraging others? And who tells the provider he's loved, even when he cannot provide at the level he wants to? See, those questions are not soft, but they're necessary. Because a tired man makes tired decisions. A tired man might stay in the wrong relationship because he doesn't have the energy to start over. A tired man might leave a good relationship because he doesn't have the energy to communicate. A tired man might lash out at his children because he has no emotional margin. See, a tired man might sabotage his business because success now feels like pressure instead of purpose. He might isolate because even love feels like a demand. And if we don't talk about this, we'll keep praising men for carrying weight while ignoring the damage the weight is doing. So, to men watching, guess what? You're allowed to be tired. All right? Not lazy, not weak. I said tired. And there's a difference. Because being tired doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you have been faithful for a long time without enough rest. It may mean you've been carrying things that were never meant to be carried alone. It may mean that you need to reassess what leadership looks like in this season. Because sometimes leadership is not pushing harder. It's saying, I need to heal so I don't bleed on people I love. And sometimes leadership is apologizing. It's getting help. It's taking the day off. It's going to therapy. Sometimes leadership is telling your kids, Daddy's tired today, but I love you. Sometimes leadership is letting someone else be strong for that minute. And to the people who love men, check on them without making the exhaustion about you. If a man says he's tired, don't immediately respond, well, I'm tired too. There may be a time for that conversation, but in that moment, hear him. Let him have his truth without competition. Ask him what support looks like. Ask him where he feels alone. Ask him what he needs but is afraid to say. See, you might be surprised how much a man will open up when he doesn't feel like his honesty will be used as evidence against him. So no, a lot of men don't hate leadership. They don't hate responsibility. They don't hate being needed. They just hate feeling like their humanity disappears the moment people depend on them. They hate being expected to be strong with no place to be soft. They hate being praised for holding it down while quietly falling apart. They hate being called leaders but treated like machines. And that has to change, because the strongest leaders are not the ones who never get tired. They're the ones honest enough to recover before they collapse. So men, lead, but don't disappear while doing it. Lead your family, lead your purpose, lead your children, and lead your life. But also let God lead you. Let wisdom guide you. Let rest restore you. Let truth free you. And let the people who love you know when the weight is getting heavy. Because leadership was never supposed to mean loneliness. And as always, my brothers, stay stripped.